What's going on, guys? Sharpshot here. Hope you guys are having a great day so far. So today's video, we'll be looking at the top 5 most overrated survivor perks in DBD. These are going to be survivor perks that everybody uses in their builds and everybody thinks are meta and really good perks overall, but in reality they're overused and the perks aren't as good as people think they are. I'm going to be going from number 5 to number 1, with number 5 being the least overrated of the 5 and number 1 being the most overrated of the 5. And for each perk, I'm going to explain why I think the perk is overrated and then break down and analyze the perk itself. So yeah, without further ado, let's get right into the video. Coming in at number 5, we have Decisive Strike. Even after its major nerf, people always think that DS is really good against tunnelers, right? But in reality, if someone is really dead set on tunneling you, one Decisive Strike won't stop them from killing you out of the trial. That's just going to be a minor setback and maybe extend one chase a little bit longer, but at the end of the day, if someone wants to tunnel you, they're gonna tunnel you and they're gonna kill you and nothing's gonna stop them. And with all of the restrictions that came with the perk being nerfed, in that it deactivates whenever you do basically any action in the game, it's really hard to use DS strategically. For example, taking it down for a survivor when you unhook them. You can't do that anymore, and it makes it really hard to get good value out of the perk. Nowadays, you have to go out of your way to get use out of DS, which could be really dangerous and risky, and if you make it too obvious, then the killer will just slug and wait out the DS. Coming in at number 4, we have Balanced Landing. Not a lot of people realize this, but the staggering effects with this perk only work when Balanced Landing is active and you're not exhausted. So falling from a great height while you're exhausted won't help you in a chase. This perk is extremely situational because some maps don't even have very many high grounds. For example, Larry's, I can think of maybe 2 places that you can drop from to get use out of Balanced Landing. On other maps, you have to go out of your way to get Balanced Landing value mid-chase, which can be pretty risky, leaving a regular tile loop to get use out of it because you're probably going to get hit on the way there. And once you do get your Balanced Landing sprint off, when the killer drops down to keep chasing you, they also don't have a stagger, so you're not going to make up as much distance as you think with your sprint burst as you would, for example, with Lithe, where you could just vault a window and the killer has to vault that window really slowly to catch up to you. Coming in at number 3, we have Iron Will. Maybe this is just an ace main bias because he's so quiet when he's injured, but being completely silent with your injured isn't as useful as people make it out to be. The killer might not be able to hear you, but there are other visual cues like your scratch marks and the pools of blood that you leave behind that the killer can track you with. And if a killer will take the time to find you, it doesn't matter how stealthy you are, the killer will eventually end up finding you, even though Iron Will might make it a little bit harder for them to find you. Outside of a chase, being completely silent isn't super useful because the killer isn't even near you. And with perks like Circle of Healing in DBD, it's really easy to heal yourself or get a teammate to heal you. So unless you're doing a stay injured build with resilience and spine chill, I think Iron Will would be useful there. But outside of that, you can just heal up, and then after that, Iron Will won't have any use. Or an alternative to running Iron Will is you could be an ace main and have a built-in tier 1 Iron Will when you're injured. Coming in number 2, we have Deliverance. Deliverance might seem really cool. They have a 100% chance at unhooking yourself, but on the first hook, do you really need to be able to unhook yourself? You can honestly just wait for a survivor to unhook you, and there are very few scenarios where Deliverance actually comes in super clutch. For example, unhooking yourself when everybody's in the dying state, but at that point, usually the killer face camps you, waiting out the Deliverance. And there is something called the Deliverance Curse that whenever you do put this perk on, you're always going to get found first in the trial, and you're always going to get hooked first in the trial. Usually when you run this perk, you're never even going to be able to get use out of it because you're always going to be on first hook. If you do go out of your way to get the first unhook to activate Deliverance, that might lead you to be overly altruistic and ignore gen progress early on when it's really important, which could definitely screw over the trial. Coming in at number 1, we have Adrenaline. Healing up a health state and getting a huge sprint burst might seem really clutch, but at the end of the day, you only do get this once per trial right when the X gates power. If you do get to end game, which most of the time you don't even get to it, so you're running a perk that you won't get any use out of in the early and mid game. And once you do reach end game and get Adrenaline active, there are very few situations where it actually comes in really clutch. For example, if you're in a chase or if you were even in the dying state, usually when the X gates power, you're just randomly walking around fully healed and the sprint burst won't do do you any good, so it's honestly just a waste. And this perk even causes the exhausted status effect, so if you were to get into chase after adrenaline was activated, you wouldn't be able to use your other exhaustion perk you might be running, so that could actually put you in a really bad spot. And say for example you were injured when the exit gate's powered, you could honestly just heal up, and honestly at that point, if you have all the time in the world to heal up, you might as well just escape the trial. So yeah guys, those were the 5 most overrated survivor perks in DBD. Let me know in the comments what you guys thought about these perks, and also what other survivor perks you guys think are overrated. I'd be curious to hear your guys' takes on that. So yeah guys, that's been the video. Thank you guys so much for watching. Leave a like and subscribe if you're new. This has been Sharpshaw, and I will see you guys in the next video.